Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to another victory in terms of the Supreme Court ruling for President Trump, I want to read you something that took place during President Obama's administration. President Obama took the state of Pennsylvania to court for exactly the issue that the Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor for. So here, this is the Department of Justice, United States Department of Justice. And before we get to the morality, before we get to the issues regarding condemnation from the left because the Supreme Court is making America cruel again, everything that takes place or that has taken place in President Trump's administration, you could say more draconian, more conservative, from a liberal perspective during President Obama's administration. Any issue, you don't like Trump's foreign policy? President Obama actually destroyed a country in Libya. You don't like the way Trump deals with the issue of race? Okay, President Obama drank Flint water while it was poisonous and said it was safe. We can go on forever. Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to pay $48.8 million to resolve federal government claims that it provided benefits to, we'll just put undocumented individuals. So let's be YouTube friendly. This is the Department of Justice. President Obama sued the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to uphold the same issues that the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Trump just today. So, really quickly here, in 5-4 Supreme Court ruling, and we'll get back to the Department of Justice, in 5-4 Supreme Court ruling, a Supreme Court allows Trump plan to deny green cards to those who may need government aid. Okay, they say, oh my God, that's so horrendous. How dare you? The Hill, let's just look back. Pennsylvania to pay $48.8 million over benefits to undocumented individuals. This is when, January 16th, 2015, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will pay $48.8 million to settle Department of Justice claims that it doled out public assistance benefits to undocumented individuals. DOJ said Pennsylvania's Department of Human Services gave undocumented individuals benefits under three welfare programs: Medicaid, temporary assistance, and needy family and supplement nutrition assistance, formerly known as food stamps. They from January 2004 to December 2010, President Obama actually took Pennsylvania to court. Where was the outrage? Where was the outrage over the same thing the Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor today? This is President Obama's Department of Justice saying, quote, the Department of Justice will continue to ensure that everyone, including the states, follows the law, but also recognizes, basically, they took Pennsylvania to court for the same reason that Trump is basically for the same reason that correlating to what Trump is advocating. So we can go ahead. The Hill, this is interesting. President Obama's Justice Department actually sued the state of Pennsylvania for giving Medicaid, temporary assistance to needy families, and food stamps to a handful of unauthorized individuals, winning a $48.8 million settlement in early 2015. You think President Obama would be okay with the Supreme Court ruling today? Yeah, I think he's okay with it. I think he's okay with it considering he sued Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania. Getting back to the Department of Justice, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to pay $48.8 million to resolve federal government claims that have provided benefits to undocumented individuals. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will pay $48.8 million to resolve the federal government's claim that it provided benefits to ineligible individuals in violation of federal law. This is under President Obama, the compassionate, the politics of hope. Excuse me. Yeah, right. The politics of hope. Why is it? It's not a matter of the debate regarding morality or the debate regarding policy or the debate regarding whether this money is for citizens. There are citizens who need, even though President Trump's economy presided over 5 million American citizens being lifted out of poverty. 5 million. The poverty rate has decreased from 12.7% to 11.3%. Forget about the policy issue, any issue regarding morality. The double standard, when it's a Democrat actually suing a state for doing exactly what Trump has advocated, and it's President Obama doing exactly what Trump has advocated, you get this insidious hypocrisy. It's absolutely whataboutism, because whataboutism is the only way you got to look at the Democratic Party and President Obama and liberals and people on the left. It's okay for them, not okay for Trump. Sorry, can't play that game. Not if it's okay for President Obama, it should be okay for Trump in the eyes of outraged maniacs. But here, the benefits at issue were provided under 3 programs: Medicaid, temporary assistance for needy families, and supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP. Okay. President Obama sued Pennsylvania because they were providing the SNAP program and other programs to what they considered ineligible undocumented immigrants. And then President Obama, the Department of Justice will continue, and this is in addition to deporting, 3 million human beings. More than any other president, the Department of Justice will continue to ensure that everyone, including the states, follow the law. This settlement demonstrates our commitment to protect taxpayer funds and ensures they are used for their intended purposes. My God, this is President Obama's administration. Could you imagine if Trump wrote this, or if William Barr, his DOJ wrote this? It would be tiki torch, enabling supremacy. Oh my God. But if it's President Obama drinking Flint water, removing millions upon millions of human beings, actually constructing cages, they even used a photo that was from the Obama era. Oh my God. The nauseating hypocrisy, the nauseating duplicitous nature of the Democratic Party. They're such hypocrites, such narcissists and hypocrites. And if you don't understand how to just use the internet and go to reputable sources, this took me literally less than 4 minutes, actually less than 3 minutes to find out. In a 5-4 ruling, Supreme Court allows Trump plan to deny green cards to those who may need government aid. So President Obama sues Pennsylvania because they were providing government aid to ineligible human beings who were not eligible for the programs. But if the Supreme Court sides and gives Trump a victory in his immigration policy, oh my God, the end, oh my God, tiki torch, oh my God, here we come with the enabling supremacy. The DHS said last year that it would expand the definition of public charge to be applied to people whose immigration to U.S. could be denied because of concern that they would primarily depend on federal assistance. How is this? Now, this is the thing. On the left, you want Medicare for all, but you also want to keep Americans in counterinsurgency conflicts. So you have Max Boot, Bill Kristol, you have Hillary Clinton, who will become nominee. That's obvious. I'm the only person saying that on planet Earth. But you want an overreaching foreign policy, but then also because progressives, many of whom just don't like Trump, they claim not to like Clinton's foreign policy, but they'll vote for Clinton again in 2020, like they voted for Clinton in 2016. Most of the progressives, most of the Bernie voters, most of the Warren voters, most of even Jill Stein supporters will vote Clinton in 2020 when she becomes nominee. Well, you're doing two things at once that are the opposite of one another. You're voting for an overreaching foreign policy, which prevents you from being able to budget the Medicare for all that you want, the abolishing of student loans that you want, abolishing ICE, all of these things that you want, in addition to giving undocumented individuals who might come here public benefits, public assistance, public aid, government aid. How can you, even if your vantage point was, okay, the Supreme Court ruling is cruel. If you vote Democrat, you're voting for the foreign policy of intervention. That's why people vote Trump and Tulsi Gabbard. That's why people voted Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is now part of the whole system that he claims he's going for one or two states. His whole life is Iowa and New Hampshire now. Back when I was saying he was going to win, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. That was the only time in the history of the world that Bernie could have become nominee, but they cheated him. They had to actually cheat him. How do we know? Because Russia hacked the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated. The DHS, this year, he's just funneling, just like he basically did in 2016, funneling votes, and all the pundits that Bernie's too afraid to endorse, they're funneling votes from Bernie back into Clinton 2020. It is like a pinball machine. And at the end, you're not going to be able to get the pinball, and then it goes right back to the DNC. The DNC gobbles up. So you can be playing, oh my God, and you're bounced around on the left, you're bounced around, you're hit around, you're bounced around, and then it just falls because, you just can't get it with the levers, and you're back to Clinton 2020. You're back to Clinton 2020. The DHS said last year they would expand the definition of public charge to be applied to people. Okay, so Washington, the Supreme Court issued an order Monday allowing the Trump administration to begin enforcing new limits on people who are considered likely to become overly dependent on government benefit programs. The court voted 5-4. The court voted 5-4. The Department of Homeland Security announced in August that it would expand the definition of public charge to be applied to people. So the Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor yet again. Now they're spinning. How can you say he's a despot and authoritarian when lower courts block President Trump and then the Supreme Court says, oh, well, yeah, we're going to side with Trump? When Congress says we're going to get Trump and the Supreme Court says, no, you're not. That's called checks and balances. Because guess what? Democrats are on the wrong side of history. The past however many years. Bottom line is that what's good for Democrats when they're in power is not good for Trump. Trump is the bad person. He's the immoral one. He's cruel. Democrats are not cruel when they actually kick out more human beings than any other presidency or administration ever. They're the ones who built all the facilities that AOC is crying in a stage photo, but you can't see what she's really weeping at. Gee, I wonder why. I thought they were going to abolish ICE. Oh, that didn't happen. That's right. I thought they were going to. It was a Green New Deal resolution or legislation. The planet is going to implode in about 10 years, 12 years. Oh, that's right. Just a resolution, not legislation. How often can you get played if you're on the left? You're getting played every second. Supreme Court ruled in Trump's favor, following President Obama's lead on this exact issue. Give me your thoughts below. Another victory for President Trump. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel this second.